Hello and welcome to the very 10th episode of the second youngest show on the Stat Check Network. It is episode 10 of Take All Comers Out of the Woods. Unfortunately, we're still in the woods. We're back at it at the beach. My name is Tyler Bortel, and I am joined by
Super Lucas
and the illustrious
Nicholas Olson Johnson.
And our special guest of the day,
I'm Max Schwarzer.
And we are here to break down the Gongaii GT tournament we took down in Forest Grove, Oregon last week. Three of us were in attendance. Nick is here for moral support, and we are excited to break it down for you. Going to be a bit of a quick episode because, as you can see, we are in the great outdoors today, but wanted to bring it hot and fresh before the meta gets shaken up too much by a bunch of nonsense. But before we jump into any of that, that is some bad picture quality. I apologize in advance. The Wi-Fi is what it is. But before we break into any of that good stuff, I got to check in with the boys. How are we doing today, Lucas?
I'm doing great. Lots of 40K recently, staying super busy, and I know, particularly you and I, Tyler, we had a GT last week, beat Chamber this weekend, and then next week the three of us are going to DreamHack.
Yes, sir.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that over the course of the show, but yeah, it's an exciting time to be playing Warhammer right now, and I'm doing pretty well overall. Yeah, just kind of vibing, dude.
Hell yeah.
How are you, Nick?
Really been busy. A lot of work and life stuff that's been taking up my time. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to Gonguai last weekend. But I've heard a little bit about it from you guys. I've been saving some of it for today, so I'm excited to hear some of the more detailed recaps. And I'm excited about DreamHack. That's kind of like my big 40K event. Coincides really well with like my work kind of dying down. So going to be a great weekend to just play some Warhammer and yeah, have a good time.
Hell yeah, brother. And we are happy to introduce our special guest to the show. If you've been watching around since we looked like this, you might know who he is. It's our boy, Max Schwarzer. Max, how you doing today?
Doing well. Enjoying this time here at the beach. Coming off a GT win, which feels pretty good. And yeah, excited to root for you guys at DreamHack. That'll be sick. I'm excited to see you guys on stream.
Hell yeah. So spoiler alert, Max is on today because he is our grand tournament champion of the Gongaii GT this time around. So big shout out to him for that. Playing Blood Angels. So look forward to hearing some breakdowns. We're going to talk about a couple other things on the tail end, but let's burn through the GT on the front end. Event review. This is Gongaii. This is run by PPM. Is that what they call themselves?
Yep. Patrick Perry and Matt.
Patrick Perry and Matt Wood. Love those boys. They run the premier Portland, Oregon area events. Frankly, some of the premier Pacific Northwest events. Absolutely love these guys. Yeah. Last time around, we had some sketchy thoughts on some of the boards. This time I have no complaints
at all.
Yeah. The mission selection overall, fairly solid. Playing Chosen Battlefield was a little bit of a meme, but like
all the other ones were.
Yeah, they were all great.
Chosen Battlefield was day one.
Yeah, it was day one.
End of day one, but still day one.
And also, like, the thing about Chosen Battlefield is it kind of sucks, but also, like, you and your opponent can just say, what are the normal places?
Hey.
Great. So I think it's a good one for balancing the competitive and the casual on that side. But yeah, the terrain is GW. The layout's varied by mission. We'll break it down as it comes up. But yeah, the venue is fantastic. There's free soft drinks. There's great bathroom access. There's plenty of space. It's somehow not too noisy. Every time I'm in there, I assume it's going to be really loud, but it's not. It's great. Good price support. They give a lot of awards out for different things, winning your brackets. Top 0-5 guy and the top 1-4 guy each get prizes.
Dude, the 0-5 guy was hype.
He was so happy. But yeah, so overall, I mean, great event. And as always, Matt Wood, good stuff's awesome. Yep. I believe they're hoping to have a fresh venue to jump up to 64.
Hoping to upsize the event, which will be really cool. And again, if you're in the Northwest, come hang out with us at future Gongaii events or Matt Wood events, PPM events, because they're all amazing. With
the Warbird Battle Labs event and Toning Down and the Pecking Order events on indefinite hiatus, this is the events to go to if you're in the area. So we hope to see you there in the next one, which should be in like August or something. We'll see. But hey, any other comments you guys have on the event?
No, it was a great event.
Fantastic. It ran so fast and so smoothly. Like I was real impressed. Now, as far as situating this event, chronologically, new Orks are in. New Tau is in. Yep. Data Slate is in. A new CSM is not in just yet. This event was May 18th and 19th, I think, of 2023.
For what it's worth, new WTC FAQ was active.
We did use the new WTC FAQ. I think it affected 0 of my games.
Yeah.
Nothing
it
really.
changed a little bit on how I use the Sanguinor because of a ruling with
Oh,
them,
yeah,
but,
the Sanguinor change.
I mean,
Cool.
oh well.
All right, sweet. So let's break it down. Starting with our champion, Max. What did you take to this event?
I took Blood Angels, which was really sick. Inspired by, I think, an Art of War guy's list, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. I'm bad with names.
Oh, Chris did it, right?
Yeah.
He's not Art of War. He's
is he not?
Team USA.
Team USA. All right. I very much get those wires crossed a lot of the time because a lot of overlap there. But
There is some.
yeah, it was 2 captains, Lamartes, Sanguinor. I'm forgetting anyone there on characters.
You got a Calidus, right?
No, I didn't have her. I initially had her and tried her out because Vec's good, nice in here, but I ended up switching her out for 5 infiltrators because Tyler terrifies me. But yeah, it was 2 captains with Salt Intercessors, pretty common brick now, in 2 Impulsors, which is a little off. Usually people put those in the Land Raider, is what I've seen.
Mhm.
So Salt Ramp is a cool rule.
Mm-hmm.
Chaplain, that's a Foot Chaplain. That's what I'm forgetting with my Foot Death Company and a Rhino. 10 Death Company on jump packs that go with the Martes. All the Death Company had Power Fists and Inferno Pistols. 5 Assault Intercessors with jump packs who are amazing. I mean, just so cheap.
Mhm.
Do the thing. Very nice. 5 Scouts and the aforementioned 5 Infiltrators. And a Death Company Dreadnought. How could I forget my boy?
The most important part of the
The
list.
Hero of the chapter.
And some scouts, right?
And 5 Scouts, yep. Who also did a lot of good work that weekend.
That's Blood Angels, baby. How about you,
Blood
Lucas? What are we doing?
So I was playing Greentide. Of course, I got to bring, first tournament post Codex. I got to bring the Gork's greatest attachment. So this list is kind of like my first default Greentide list. It's got 3 war bosses, 2 pain boys, 2 weird boys. One of the weird boys has real advance and charge, and the other one has get a CP on a 3-up. We have 5 squads of 20 boys and 1 squad of 10 boys. 10 Gretchen, 5 Storm Boys. I've got 5 Mega Knobs joined to a Mega Armored War Boss with Raucous War Caller and a truck. And I've got a Battle Wagon. So very simple, but very fun and dynamic, and had an absolute blast with it.
Sick.
Proper order.
Sweet.
What about you, sir?
Rocking out Gene Steeler Colts. Kind of taking a little bit of a last ride with them before the Codex drops. I'm bringing them to DreamHack next weekend for the team event. I was put on them because Lennon was going to play Nids. I think Lennon's playing Marines now. But I'm playing GSC. We're having fun. So this is kind of a last ride of the old style of lists. We've got 3 Primuses, an Exos, a Reductus, and a Biophagus with Inscrutable Cunning. I think one of the Primuses has the free Heroic because what else am I going to do with 10 points? I literally never used it. We got 2 squads of Acolytes, 2 squads of Neophytes, normal loadouts on those boys. We got a full 10-man brick of Aberrants because I hate myself. We got 5 Pure Strains to run around and do a couple of actions. And we've got a single mortar car in the back. And then for our guard contingent, we got 10 Cadians, 10 Catechins, 2 Cyclops demolition vehicles, and 2 Tarox transports.
So you've got 2 of every unit.
1 Catechin, 1 Cadian.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah.
Those sound like guardsmen to me, dude.
One is none, 2 is 1 is definitely kind of the moral of the story when it comes to GSC.
Yes.
You got to have a backup plan. Other than the Aberrants, obviously. The Aberrants are a solo thing. And you'll never guess what unit's getting cut. Anyway, I like the list a lot. It does some funny things, and it was fun to bring them around one last time. So
Nice.
we're you have something, Nick?
So speaking of GSC,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think of your new big brain overlord, dude?
Oh, that model.
Yeah, because I think while we were at the event, right, they were.
It was
previewing-
during the final.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were previewing new models, including I
The
don't even know what you said.
Benefactus.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
The Benefactus?
Exactly. Okay.
I'm sure that's a print already. I think that model looks fine. I think everyone who's been out there saying just use the Delac Psyker instead is totally right. That model is insane.
Yeah.
Benefactus, especially if it's only available in that FOMO box that I don't really need.
Yeah.
Like,
I just
I don't see
appreciate how accurately they turned the GSC player into the model. So.
yeah, there's certainly something. I think we'll see some cool conversions for them. If they claim to be an anti-tank thing that maybe gives their unit a good buff, that could be kind of cool. So we'll see about that. Hopefully they play on the tabletop. I was really hoping for anything other than another fucking character in my army, but no, more characters. Honestly, the most exciting thing for me out of that reveal was the new Pure Strains, baby!
Yeah, dude, those guys
And that
are
that
awesome.
Necromunda thing. That is some sick models. So those are definitely going to have to get into my hands at some point. And honestly, I love the grunts that come with them as well. The gangers. Between that and the new Katie and Brood Brothers coming out and that Botan kill team, when does that come out?
Just use the grunts.
Someday?
point.
All right. Anyway,
Some point.
Yeah.
whenever that happens, that'll
I
be
don't
cool. So yeah, cool time to be a GSC player. We got a Codex coming out. Hopefully it fucks. And maybe does something slightly different. That would be cool. I miss my Rusted Claw. We're not going to do a full 15 game breakdown here, or 14 games, I guess, because we've got stuff to do. But we'll run through a little bit quickly. Round 1, we are playing. What was this? I don't even remember.
Crucible of Battle. Priority targets.
Crucible with Rain.
Yeah.
What'd you get into, Max?
I played Death Guard. Owen, awesome guy,
Love
really good
Owen.
player. Very, very good game. I'll be perfectly honest. The dice won it for me. Sadly, he had a turn where his dice just went cold. All his flamers were like, I'm gonna have maybe one shot, and I'll maybe get a wound through if I'm lucky, kind of thing. And that kind of clinched the game when my Death Company with Jump Pack Brick survived that turn of shooting and was able to activate and do stuff.
I've noticed that Blood Angels have a lot of those kind of games, really explosive games, where if your opponent does a whiff turn, it's really, really bad for them. Yeah. So, nice.
Cool.
I played
Yourself?
against Tau.
Nice.
This was the first of 2 games I played against Tau over the weekend. Retaliation Cadre in particular. And it was cool to see some of the stuff that they can do, but they only, when you don't run Breachers in Tau, your already limited toolkit for killing 20-man Orc squads gets even narrower. And so I was just able to out-primary this game and take them out. So it was a lot of fun, though. Great opponent.
Very cool. I got paired into Canoptic Court, still running Catan, which was very cool looking army. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, it was the guy with the chrome with all the like blue and red kind of effects, the airbrushing. Looks super cool. The Catan are real pricey, and they're even pricier now. He had a Nightbringer Void Dragon, like it's a lot of points.
Yep.
And the problem that army runs into against GSC is that if it runs too wide, I'm very good at picking it apart, and those Catan are just so slow they never got to do anything. And 2 Neophyte units kill a Catan like every single time, just very consistently. So we were able to get a pretty dominant showing there.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a good round 1.
So 3 solid games round 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always good to start off with a win instead of the feels bad loss round 1.
Yeah, round 2, time to pair something a little more interesting. What do you got, Max?
What's the mission round 2?
Mission round 2 is
It's Crucible of Battle with Purge
Beast.
Foe. So hold 1, hold more, kill 1, kill more.
Less,
the worst.
So hopefully go second.
Again, glad we're getting these out of the way on day 1, right?
Yep,
boys?
absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you
Into?
got on first?
I matched into Brian's MSU Eldari.
Spicy.
That's right.
Bunch of MSU Aspect Warriors. What?
87-70.
Yeah, this was my closest game of the weekend. My God, the Avatar King is hard to kill. I had to commit an entire Death Company brick to that, plus the Red Rampage strat. Goodness, he is a tank still.
Yep.
Overall, very, very good game. Very hard fought. Decan still do the thing. Fuegan does the thing. They're still a great army, in my opinion, but I think they're actually very fun to play into at this point, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yes,
So
I agree.
great, awesome game into Brian. Very, very fun. And just overall a good game.
Yeah, I'm happy with where Eldar are as well. I think they're in a fun spot. For myself, I played against Custodes. This was unfortunately this absolute legend of the community was playing Auric Champions, thinking that the character model buffs worked on character units. So his list was in a little bit of an awkward spot. And without the Custodes -1 damage and fight first abilities, it was just kind of rough because every time I charged him, his guys kind of melted. And we just got to a big brawl in the middle, and he killed most of my orcs. I killed all of the Custodes and scored all the primary while doing it. So was a pretty convincing win. But it felt very cathartic to just charging Custodes and actually beat them up. Because I've been getting fought first by them for so long, dude. So yeah, it was fun.
Nice. Round 2, I got a little bit nervous. I had to play into Bully Boys. This is my first time into New Orcs. Despite living with this idiot, we hadn't played yet because our schedules are real off. Because he works early, I work late, and we've been doing crazy shit all the weekends.
Yep.
So this was a lot of fun. I was real worried about this going in because they're real good. And then I had to go first, which sucks, and bounced my damage really hard. I sent 5 Pure Strains in to move block top 1, and I was like, all right, here's your 8 points. I have to do it. I hate it.
The Purge the Foe classic.
Yeah, exactly. But we were able to swing some stuff around, wait out the walls a little bit, couldn't really damage him through the wall. I keep telling people the math is that demo charges kill Mega Knobs, and it keeps not happening as I more play into them. Like it's so inconsistent. But that was pretty great. The best moment of that game by far, though, I got him to pretty much full expose and then ingress the Aberrants, and he was like, "Oh no, oh no." So the Aberrants run on up, and they clobber a squad of knobs with a war boss, and then and I've shot Gaz's Mega Knobs all the way through the wall. Just fights, just got him. And then he's got Makari storage, so he's got 2 up pinball. Got to worry about that. So I swing first with Dr. Jekyll, who turns himself into Mr. Hyde, because it's worth doing.
This is the biophagus.
The biophagus.
He's got speak Tyler speak.
He's got 4 attacks with lethal sustained. So he swings, he gets 5 hits, one of which is not a wound. And then he's anti-infantry 2 up, so he wounds all 4 times, so 5 wounds. Sure. I'm like, great. He's just got to fail 2 up on Makari. Makari goes away, and then we'll get the Aberrants to swing into Gaz. He fails his first 2 up. Okay. He rolls his 4 2-ups on Gaz, fails 3 of them. CPs one of them and makes it. Okay, Gaz takes 2d3 plus 6. 10? Gone. Had 6 Aberrants ready to swing at him. Just didn't need him.
The combat character, dude.
Yeah, exactly. He's a beast. Oh, God, I hope nothing happens to that man. But yes, that was awesome. And we essentially tabled him. We left him with half a truck at the end of the game. Won that one. What was the final score? 68-83? Yeah, pretty convincing win. Was able to pick up a lot of primary in the late game. If you can get the Orks, the Bully Boys, to wah early, and you have the delaying tactics that my army does, a lot of 10-man idiots to run up and wrap transports, a lot of move blocking, a lot of just standing at awkward places, like you can get a lot done. So I was real happy with how the list performed in that one. So sweep for round 2 as well. Not bad.
Sweet.
What's our mission for round 3, Lucas?
It is, oh God. It is sweeping engagement, not chilling raid. We're playing the most chosen of battlefields. We are choosing our battlefield.
Chosen
battlefields.
And take and hold, I believe. So wide engagement front and player place objectives. Do you remember what you're playing round 3?
I played against Warhorde.
Yeah,
Siebes. Yeah, his
Let's
Warhorde. It was very cool. The Warhorde still suffers from being, we're in the Orks, we have 1 WOG. I went first in that game, so I came up on turn 2 where there was a situation where it was like, okay, well, I could WOG this turn with my Mega Armored Knobs and Gaz's units Mega Armored Knobs and try for a go turn. I'm looking at the board and like, I'm going to be able to walk back about, say, 8 inches, be out of all your threat ranges, still objectives and scoring. And so he's like, oh, I guess I won't WOG. And that turn, I tried to go in as hard as I could on his army. Killed all of Gaz's Mega Knobs unit, blocked off his Mega Knobs and truck unit with some impulsors and some assault intercessors, and just kind of made it so that the next turn it was like, oh, well, I really do have to WOG on this turn. I was like, well, cool. I hopefully have put you in a spot where you only have this 1 4-up feel no pain unit, and I can deal with that with a 10-man Brick Death Company. And that ended up working out. And I will say, I kept pointing over at Lucas that game and saying, it's Lucas's fault that I am beating you right now. That man has trained me on Orks for 3 editions now.
Hundreds of Orks versus Marines games.
I can contribute that win to Lucas, I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, man.
But overall, an awesome game.
Siebes is an awesome opponent.
Such a nice guy.
I like people are exploring Warhorde because, it's got its clear strengths and clear weaknesses, and I think that's a cool place to be as a detachment.
A very well hobbied army too. Just
yes.
really,
all of his
really
stuff
good
looks
looking
incredible.
Army. So.
Yeah.
Very cool. What are you running into round 3?
I'm playing the Orks Mirror, dude.
Orks Mirror!
But not the Green Tide Mirror. I'm playing the Orks Bully Boys game, which I have said is Green Tide favored in the past, so time to put my money where my mouth is. This is against Alex Henderson, who's playing with a whole bunch of Mega Knobs, Skazgul, and in my opinion, the better version of the Bully Boys, which is you run a bunch of boys instead of knobs. So he had a 20-man with a war boss and 2 10s with war bosses. So lots of volume and OC2, very importantly, for actually, holding some ground, because the Mega Knobs don't really hold the ground very well. So this was a scary game and was one of my 2 closest games of the weekend. Won this one by the skin of my teeth. But really what it came down to was, he went first and Thunder charged me on turn 2. I didn't have a lot to respond with, but, once Bully Boys are committed, they kind of leave some gaps in their home field, which I managed to sneak into and flipped all the objectives for later on in the game and won the game narrowly on primary, basically, because he had more secondary than me. but I had a fair bit more primary.
Bottom turn, baby.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a pattern I've started noticing in a lot of my green tide games, especially when I go second, is it's really hard for the opponent to score primary past turn 3.
Yep.
Turn 2 is actually pretty easy, and I think it's kind of a mistake to, jump charge on turn 2 to flip your opponent's 5 points. But the most common pattern I was seeing all throughout the weekend and in future practice games is my opponent gets a 10 on turn 2, especially if I go second. I get a 5. They get a 5 on turn 3. I get a 10. So at that point, we're at parity. And then from there, they're getting zeros, and I'm maxing every turn. So just kind of learning that slow tempo of when to apply pressure and take the objectives versus when it's not worth it. Especially because I'm not used to playing an orc list that gets more powerful later in the game. I'm used to you log on turn 2, and then you're frantically scrambling to score points and beat your opponent. Now this is like, if you don't deal with me on turn 2, I'm going to log on 3, and you're just going to get 0 points for the rest of the game.
Nice.
So it was a lot of fun, and narrowly squeaked this with a long bomb boy charge on turn 5. So it was a lot of fun.
Long bomb being like a 2 on the dice with plus 13 or whatever.
Long bomb being I started outside of charge range. I revived into move 6, launch an 11-inch charge. Actually, sorry, 11-inch charge. You mean 5-inch charge? 6-inch charge, and then I'll take my home field back. Thank you very much.
Plus 5 to charge, kind of funny.
It is.
Yeah, you pulled that play off in I think one of our first games.
It's happened 4 times already, man.
And we thought my home field was safe, right? There was turn 4 was a World Eaters, what was it, a Dream Tide game, and then you I could see the gears turning, and it was just you also drew capture that turn, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh!
So it was an instant.
I drew capture behind.
Yeah.
Oh!
Boy squad just moved.
So
21 inches.
I'm glad that wasn't a fluke, and that has continued to just be an extremely powerful play you have access to.
Yeah, especially because people's brains tend to turn off for the late game. They're like,
Yeah.
I just move this to get these points, you move that to get those points, easy peasy.
A lot of times,
they're orc boys auto charge anywhere they want to.
Yeah. Turn 4, people are all let's count it up, and you're like, well, now you lose, which is very cool.
Yeah.
I agree.
I feel like
it's
to beat
working out.
in the games that you've lost, you getting tabled on turn 3 or 4.
Yeah, you have to go and kill the orcs in the early game.
Very cool. All right, sweet. Round 3, I got paired into a Chad running 1,000 Suns.
Oh, the legend.
This dude had Magnus. He had a Big Knight with double thermal cannon. He had 3 Mutalith Vortex Beasts.
AO, dude? What's going on?
He had 10 blues. Oh, he had Kairos.
How many call points does this list have?
9.
Zinch's number, baby.
He had
let's
Aramon
go.
and a regular Exalted
He
Disc Sword.
had 2 Mutaliths, but probably had to cut one in order to fit Kairos.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Mamma mia.
Anyway, so this list is big boy time.
Is 0 rubrics? Oh, yeah, it's all
Nope.
cultists.
Yeah, 20 cultists.
All cultists and just big lads. Let's go, dude.
That's
Yeah.
so high.
So this absolute Chad goes first. I'm like, oh, thank God. And he's like, I'm gonna commit. I'm like, okay, you do that. And he runs forward with everybody at full speed. Okay. Fortunately, Magnus stepped on a landmine and took 6 mortal wounds. Great way to start the game. Reductus Saboteur, very balanced data sheet. His Big Knight runs straight forward over a squad of blue horrors, blows the fuck up out of a Tarox, and then charges the guys who are inside of it.
Nice.
And is T-posing an inch off my DZ. Okay. Interesting.
Kill him?
The Big Knight at the end of battle round
your
1.
opponent's army.
Yeah, you tabled him.
Bomba.
Bomba.
But
Bomba.
did the Knight do the classic Knight thing where T-poses on your home field all game? And
No,
lives up on-
actually, it actually fucking died.
Oh, dang.
Let's go.
The Reductus ran over, threw grenades, threw a demo charge, and a Cyclops drove over and blew up in Magnus's face. And at the end of those 2 things, Magnus was at 2 wounds.
Oops.
And then a full bomb squad goes in without a Primus, goes into the Big Knight, and then the Neophytes pick up the spare on Magnus, drop the Big Knight to 4. He unfortunately gets to survive. That's fine, whatever.
This is what Take and Hold chosen?
Yeah.
Yep.
It seems, tough for him to spread out, especially when he throws the whole army at you.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I left this guy with a Mutalith alive, and my Aberrants Ingress charged the Disc Sorcerer on his objective. I made sure he couldn't see me, so he wasn't going to be able to 2-up, make it bad. And then they sat on that side objective for the rest of the game. They just didn't play because they didn't need him. Just blow the crap out of stuff over and over again. I almost beat Aramon to death with Catachins. That would have been great, but it didn't happen. Anyways, this was not an especially close game, but a fun one. This guy was awesome. We had a great time.
Nice.
He's one of those guys who's going to get back in after a pretty long hiatus.
Nice.
You think you're saying he's a former professional wrestler, needing
That's
of
Okay.
some to stretch his brain because he's had too many concussions. But very cool dude. So yeah, we finished up day 1 3-0, boys. Let's go.
Yeah, all of us.
Hasn't happened in a minute.
And no
for
team
a
kills
whole
either.
career. No team
Yeah,
No
kills.
team kills, which is
Which,
great.
considering how many ruffians were there,
I mean,
there was a high probability of some team killing.
Did Tanner and Harry not play?
On day.
Harry's not
No,
wrestling.
yeah, they
dude.
played on day one.
Harry
Day one.
refuses to join any team.
Yeah, he's a.
That's fair.
He's a lone
He's a lone
man.
operative.
He's a lone
Yeah.
operative. Yeah.
Can't shoot that man unless you're within 12.
Fair enough.
Harry.
Anyway, so going into day 2, time for some more normal missions. We're playing Hammer and Anvil, Sights of Power, Rain.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Cool.
we have a comment
Oh,
from Mr. Plummer, dude. Can I
Donnie.
click
oh
on
yeah.
this?
Donnie asks, can we comment on our objective placements
Yeah.
during Chosen Battlefield?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
There's
What did you do, Max?
Well, I talked with my opponent and said, all right, well, I'm going to place one in the middle. And he just kind of looked at me and said, well, let's just make a symmetrical battlefield. He's like, oh, yeah, perfect. Let's just make a symmetrical battlefield. So we kind of made it a pseudo search and destroy kind of. Pseudo search and destroy deployment. So one in
Sure,
the middle,
nice.
kind of just think, very easy.
Cool.
Nice. I think I keep having this thing in Chosen Battlefield where I put the objectives down. I'm like, this is my strategy, dude. I'm gonna do this, and then I'll put my other midfield one because I won the roll off nice and close by, so my orcs can contest them very easily. And then my opponent just puts one there instead. I'm like, no one knows how to do this at all. No one understands, how to play Chosen Battlefield. So
Except for Steve.
we just kind of threw them around, and
Steve
Play
knows
with
how to
me,
play
dude.
Chosen Battlefield, dude.
I believe it.
He
Put
knows
them
it
all
just-
on one side, and then whatever side you get, you're either sitting there or you're running at them, dude.
Those are the options.
Yeah.
My opponent and I basically did the opposite of Max. We had one dead center, and then the 4 went all the way out. So they were super spread apart. This is great.
That sounds disgusting.
Dead.
brutal.
Yeah, his closest not sticking his home field. Very sad for T-Suns.
Yeah.
But yes, that's how that went. All right, sweet. So going into day 2, like I said, we're doing Hammer and Anvil, and we're doing Sights of Power, baby. Which is a mission that does not get a ton of play. I quite enjoyed the mission. Yeah, I think it's fun. What are we planning to, Max?
I played into Tau, Retaliation Cadre, been on Tau. Oh my goodness, I went into this game scared.
Mhm.
It's Tau, and I'm playing Power Armor. I don't have a lot of invulns. Tau are well known for ignoring cover and decently high AP to just say, hey, Marines take 5 up, 6 ups, or even no save a lot of the time. And my goodness, Riptides are great. Flat 4 damage with Dev Wounds once per game can really cut into my transports. Any of my troops, even my Lamarte squad is -1 damage, 6 up, feel no pain. They don't like 4 damage.
Nope.
So just very scary profiles. So I rolled up and said, all right, well, I feel like I'm in the hole. And when I'm in the hole, I like to, I'll bet stuff on silly things like going first and deploying on the line into Tau. And so I deployed on the line and went first. Thank God. I put a Death Company Dreadnought right on the line without any coverage, sitting there saying hi. And I thought to myself, well, if he does go first, he's still Tau. They lost Tetras. I could smoke. I didn't run the Magna Grapples. I like the smoke keyword a lot on my Death Company Dreadnought. So I said, yeah, I can smoke. So it won't be the end of the world. And he might survive, and that would be nice. But I got first. My opponent had infiltrated some Pathfinders up 9 away from my DZ and then moved them back. There's 7. But the way he wanted to move them, he got stuck around a crate or a building with his placement, and he had a Pathfinder within 15 inches of my deployment zone and my Death Company Dreadnought, more importantly. So turn 1, I run my Death Company Dreadnought up 8 inches because it's flat 8-inch move, which is awesome compared to all the other Dreadnoughts 6 inches. And I make my charge. I roll it. I hit that charge, and I'm in. And the Death Company Dreadnought runs Blood Talons, so he's got 8 attacks on the charge with a +1 from Sons of Sanguinius, +2 strength, 3 strength 10. He's got Black Rage, so he just innately rerolls hit rolls for some ungodly reason. Oh, and he's got 2 with Talons, so he's twinling. So I just got full everything rerolls. Man runs in, whops 8 breachers. I'm like, cool. It's top of 1. I'm going to spend 1, and I'm going to 6-inch console the other 2 breachers. Now you're going to hit me back. I have a rule called Frenzied Reprisal. You have hit me now. I'm going to hit you again now as the Death Company Dreadnought. Kill you. I'm going to now console 6 into your 3 stealth suits. You have to hit me. I'm going to Frenzied Reprisal again. I'm going to kill all your stealth suits, and then I'm going to console 6 into your Riptide. You have to hit me again. I'm going to bring your Riptide to, it was like 3 or 4 wounds left. I also had scouts that had scouted up and infiltrated on the other side of the board, run in and tag another Riptide. And more importantly, Ret Cadre has an enhancement that allows a commander and his unit to be picked up and put back down. and I went first, and that means a turn 1 3-inch deep strike is potentially out there. I don't like that. So I have my scouts charge a Riptide and tag that unit in engagement range, and they can no longer run down. And that was turn 1.
Good game.
Turn 2.
That one Pathfinder, dude, cost the greater good so dearly.
He then puts his whole army that can shoot into the Death Company Dread, and it lives on 1. Death Company Dread activates again, lives through the Overwatch on the 1 wound, and proceeds to pick up a Riptide, 3 more Stealth Suits, and 3 Crisis Suits, and re-tag the commander that has the uppy downy enhancement.
Yeah, Jado-san here, who I assume is a Tau enthusiast by that name, thinks that you should only be able to do it once per turn, and I think they're no fun. That is one of the coolest rules in the game.
That was a wild thing.
Want the Death Company Dread to hit you, maybe you should stop hitting it, dude.
Yeah. You ever think about like not making your attacks?
You ever think about not being within 20 inches?
That's one of those very... I mean, you live the dream, dude.
Everyone's
talked about that combo.
No,
Yes.
I was like, I could lose it. I don't care if I win or lose anything now. I've won.
Yeah.
I'm done. I did the thing with the unit. I'm done.
Intended? Maybe not. Cool?
Very.
Yeah.
Well, we just fought like 10 times.
Very
in 3
cool.
fight phases.
Hell yeah.
It really
It's a very
solves the
flavor-
Marine
yeah.
problem of, hey, we're really struggling for some activations
Yeah.
here.
What if
One
one
be activated 5 times.
Yeah, pretty good,
That's
dude.
badass.
So that was a pretty good game.
Sweet.
Nice.
All right, what do you got, Lucas? Semifinals.
Playing against Firstborn Salamanders.
Hurry!
I'm still, after a whole week of recollection and trying to reflect on this game, not quite sure what happened. I somehow needed to get a 15 on primary and jump charge his Rhino to bring it down on the last turn to win by 2, and I did. But yeah, it was just like such a wacky game of I don't even know how did I almost lose against Tackle?
Well, you were describing it yesterday with there were a few very threatening units you had to watch out for.
Yeah, admittedly, the 10-man assault or
The
the Vanguard Burn squad with the hand flamers are scary because they can kill 2 squads of boys if they can shoot and fight. So it's a lot of careful positioning to make sure they can't actually get that double tap off because, they can advance and shoot, but then they can't charge. And so all I need to do is like block their 12-inch moves so that they're shooting and charging 1 squad, or maybe their charge is awkward and they only get 3 models in or something like that. So did a lot of that, and that cost me a little bit in the early game because Harry was able to get a lot of primary because I was needing to be careful, but just barely flipped it around at the very end of the game. But yeah, I love playing Harry because he knows his army very well, and he knows how to like squeeze every little droplet of value out of those shitty ass data sheets that he can.
Tactical Marine Enjoyer.
And Devastators. The
The
Devastators
Ignore Mod Librarian Devastators.
value, dude.
My mind is blown.
Now, if only he could get any value out of his clock.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Homeboy did take a while to think about how to move his Vanguard veterans, and by a while I mean like 25 minutes. But yeah, it was a fun game, and god damn, I was tired after this.
And I mean, it came down to that Rhino dying to the
Yes,
wound.
to the wound.
You didn't do a wound to it with your Slugget in the shooting phase. Like, you lose that game.
Mhm.
That was crazy. Great finish. Very cool. All right.
It was a lot of fun.
My round 4, not quite as exciting. I also got to play the Eldar again, which is very cool. Unfortunately, this Eldar list had a Wraith Knight and a Avatar of Cain, which I think is a very reasonable meta pick right now. There's a lot of chonk out there, a lot of thick things, a lot of bully boys you want to shoot through.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Wraith Knights don't kill neophytes anymore.
No.
So he had those 2. He had 3 D cannons, or only 2 D cannons. No Shadow Specters because those have gone up in points quite a bit. 15 Warp Spiders and a pile of characters. This is not a good matchup.
Apply gun to the affected area.
Exactly. I killed all 15 Warp Spiders in a turn along with the 2 D cannons and was like, all right, what else you got?
There it is.
And then I
Don't like auto guns.
I drew Assassinate, no prisoners, and killed 3
Bro.
characters with squad of neophytes. I was like, all right, cool. The Avatar got to live for a minute, and then I drew I was just waiting for him to get drawn away from the Farseer, and then had a squad of neophytes just stare at the Farseer and say, "Move! I dare you, move!" And he wouldn't move, so he didn't.
Still.
So the Avatar wasn't able to get fortune up that turn. Hilariously, that was on turn 3. On turns 3, 4, and no, because on 5 he was dead. But on turns 3 and 4, he was in range of the Wraith Knight at least, and he rolled the 1. It was every time. I never bothered to target the Wraith Knight because it didn't matter. But finally, fortune is off the Avatar and Bomba. See you later. So that was a lot of fun. Not and especially challenging matchup, but
Very bad list pairing for you.
Yeah, not just not the list he was looking to pair into. It was also a pair down for me because there were 5 undefeateds. So you guys played, they played, and then I played down. This was in to Rich Dudley. Nice to play by Rich, who was a pleasure to play against. So that was a good time. Yeah. Gorgeous looking stuff too. Some very pretty looking.
Yeah, Rich is a really great
his army's all
hobbyist.
cool.
Oh my goodness.
Cool. Anyway, so we are all 4-0, boys.
Yeah, we made it 4-0 without
we are the
we are the only 3 undefeateds. That has not happened in a tournament in a minute.
So at this point, you have a pair down in round 3.
Yep.
I got
You
a pair
got-
down.
In round
No, I was paired down round 3. Tyler
I was
paired
paired
down
down
round 4.
Okay, and I got the pair down in round 5.
Yep.
So it just came down to A, who won their game, and B, who had more opponent game win percentage.
Yep. Cool. Which I actually looked back and I think I eked it out because one of your opponents dropped and didn't play a 5th game.
Oh, was that what happened?
That was the difference, I believe.
I mean, if you drop, it doesn't count as a loss for your OG.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, it's just nothing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because you didn't lose a game. So it,
Well, that's good.
Interesting.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it's a
That's
good
good to know that.
But yeah, so what you should do is at the end of before the 5th round, you go to all your opponents with 3-1, you drop. Just, threaten them with bodily harm.
I just told him to win. That's what I said. You guys all got to win, brother.
Impromptu team events, baby. Anyway, so we're all looking around. I don't want to play this guy because that seems like a really bad matchup. I beat the crap out of this guy like a week ago,
Yeah,
so
like
that
a
should
week
be
and a half
fine.
ago, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Tyler whooped me a week and a half ago." Oh, I don't think I want Tyler. I think I want Lucas because I have a better handle of him as a player, and maybe I could make it a close game and win.
It was interesting.
That was my
and
thought
then the
process.
pair down is around. It's probably that Tau player who's at the top.
Yes.
Sweet, and it ends up being that I do play Max, and Lucas gets the pair down into the Tau player.
I got the one match. I was like,
let's-
no.
Yeah. So I'm feeling pretty confident. We'll see how it goes. Let's do Lucas first, and we'll finish up after that.
Yeah, this was a kind of very similar game to the one I played round 1, where my opponent got some early primary, but as soon as I got the boys into the right positions, and killed the 2 crisis units that actually hurt me, there's nothing he could do for the rest of the game but sit there and kill 4 guys from each squad every turn, and I'll just replenish one of them. God, I love Green Tide, dude. It's so much fun. So yeah, another game where I haven't mentioned this yet, but I ingressed 30 just naked orc boys
30?
every single
20.
a 20 out of 10.
And it's been
30
30 over
over
the
the
game. Oh my goodness.
Every game they put in insane work. And in the game into Harry, a 10 ingress in his backfield on turn 3 when he just needed every bullet and ran forward toward me. And then they got charged by 10 tactical marines. Those 10 tactical marines killed 1 orc. Orcs killed 5 guys back.
It's a
The tactical
T5
marines-
strength 4 moment.
Exactly.
Mhm.
T5 strength 5 versus T4 strength 4. They fought again, killed 2 orc boys, and then I wiped out the squad. It's just funny moments like that where the random orcs shitters in the backfield just putting in so much work. So that happened again against the Tau where, you don't even need to ingress them because on turn 3 you bring them in and just go for a 6-inch charge. And I did that.
You would
and
just go for a 6-inch charge right at a deep strike.
yeah, I would, as it turned out. It's pretty good. And they just lived on his natural expansion of the game, just slowly killing crisis suits as they fought against the inevitable horde. God, it was so cool. So another game basically the same as the one I played in round 1, where I won by 25 or 30 on primary and parity on secondary. So
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sweet. I taught you hear me yap enough on this podcast. Max, why don't you break down a game for
Oh
us?
Lord, well, I mean, you're gonna have to fill in some blanks because it was a really good game. Really good game. The big thing was so the difference between our practice game that we played about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and this game is I brought 5 infiltrators in the list,
Yes.
which gave me at least about a fourth of the board where I could say, okay, you just can't, which was great. While the rest of the board could be taken up by the 3 transports, and GSC don't like boxes, especially when the GSC run. They don't have a lot of the long range box popping shooting that they might have access to. Instead, they run, let's say they run 10 aberrants and a biophagus instead of that.
And it turns out your opponent had the latter.
It turns out, yeah.
Car killing was at a minimum.
Car killing was at a minimum. A lot of it was moving, a lot of it was me keeping momentum in my favor by choosing when to decar and preventing Tyler from choosing when I get to decar. And maintaining that momentum was really key to winning the game, along with a couple hot dice rolls. Tyler charged my 10-man unit and my Lamarte's 10-man jump pack death company unit with 10 aberrants and a biophagus that he had ingressed from the previous turn. Walks on in and kills, and I'm like, oh my god, this unit's just dead. You know, these are flat 3. I'm
Math
just gonna
is
fight on
the
death.
unit dies 2 guys over.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fight on death so I get some value. Tyler walks in, swings, kills 6 Death Company Marines.
My brothers in Christ.
I was like, okay,
you had one job.
so those 6 will fight, and then I'm gonna activate. And then in my turn after that, I'll shoot you with my Inferno pistols and melee and charge you with an Intercessor brick. I just it was such a bizarre habit of just like, wow, this just doesn't make sense on dice.
That's how it goes.
And you can also and then second play that was pretty. I don't know if it was scammy. At least I did CP reroll it. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
for sure.
48 chance out of a 9 inch of the reroll. So
Mhm.
I charged. Tyler had deep struck a 20-man blob of neophytes with 2 characters in my backfield, threatening my home objective. I was like, oh my god, I have to do something about that. He's not really charging me, and it's top of 3 because I went first. I went second. Tyler went
I
first.
really wish I had
That's
gone
what it was.
second.
Because I was like, oh, I went second. Good. Tyler can't
Mhm.
bomb me top of 1.
Yep.
And Sangor lands on my home objective, and I'm like, he's just gonna walk here and kill Sangor. I'm just gonna charge this unit. Let's see what happens. Rolled a 3. I'm like, yeah, I think it's worth it. I'll CP it. Get an 11 on it. Walk on it. I'm like, oh, I have assassinated this turn. I have a command point left. I'm gonna epic challenge. That's 6. So epic challenge. And I killed both the Primus and the Nexus to the wound with the Sanguinor.
Brutal.
And tagged that unit. No, I know I killed like 1 or 2 more
You
units.
killed one more guy because I was
And
able to
Tyler
get
was
out.
like, and now console or
coherency
shenanigans, and was able to
You
pull
gotta-
them out and trip them
like,
back. But I was like,
I can't lose those 2 characters.
I was like, thank God, no more chapter master rerolls on that unit. Which came up huge.
in hindsight, I saved the 1 CP so I could pick the units up. I should have just gone for the unquestioning loyalty and said it's going to be what it is. We're not picking up this turn. You get to fuck my tempo, but I still get to have units to play with. Yeah, that was a mistake. The other play that Max isn't really breaking down here is what he's doing with the infiltrators, which is really, really smart. So Bomba's 6-inch range. That's my main source of damage outside of the neophytes, particularly when it comes to just obliterating a thing. So if he stands up, he can use walls to prevent neophytes from getting too feisty. The acolytes are what wants to get into him. As long as he keeps his units wholly within 6 of the infiltrators, I cannot throw bombs at him because I have to be outside of 12 of the infiltrators. So I'm now outside of 6 of them. And he just held down that entire flank that way for a long ass time. The Aberrants are the only thing that can go break into that. And if they are going to whiff, like there's nothing more to be done about that. So yeah, overall, really well played by Max. He ends up taking it down. Good shit, dude.
The practice game helped, man. That game was the reason I was able to come up with a strategy to eke out that win. Like,
yeah, no, it was good stuff. Oh my gosh,
random
a
bug.
piece of plant. It's not even a bug. Just fell into my glasses.
Well,
That's fine.
the hell out of it.
I thought it was a bee in my eyes. That
Man
was...
encounters nature. Dude.
But yeah, so yeah, overall great event. We end up with Max in first by OG win percentage, Lucas in second, and I fall down to
That was
fourth.
Lamarty's after the oh my god.
To be clear, though,
but yeah.
I took first by 1.2%.
Yep, you're
It was
1.2% OG win
exceptionally
percentage.
close with this man.
And then Harry took OG win percentage for third over my fourth by like 1.03%.
It was
even
all
closer.
close.
Both these guys. Right? No, you didn't. You played you. That's
Yes.
Yeah,
that's-
exactly.
Played me.
Harry
Harry played me
played
and
5-0.
But yes, overall, real good event, some solid results. What are we thinking going forward? I know I've got some big changes happening. What are you thinking, Max?
I like the Blood Angels list. I'm probably just gonna sit with it. I think
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, it's like maybe the Death Company Dread might get changed out for something other, but I just like him. Until he just completely fails, I like him. And he's a distraction card effect. He's like, if you don't deal with me, I will run rampant through your lines. And if you do deal with me, you have to put decent things into me because I'm a T9, 2-up save, 8 wound guy with smoke, AOC, and a 6-up field note fade. So you actually have to commit something to killing him.
Yeah.
His big downside, though, and all Death Company's downside, will say, so a great way to play around Blood Angels is kill all their chaplains. And all of a sudden, I have like 21 models with OC 0, and I can't play the mission.
Yeah.
So you kill my chaplains, and I get really sad.
Yep. That's a cool rule, honestly.
That's
Because that's part of the Black Rage rule, right?
Yes. That is part of the Black Rage.
Yeah, understanding it's what when your unit's not within 12 of a chaplain model, you have OC 0 can't fall back.
Yep.
Yeah, that is a big part of playing around these guys because you also have fallback and charge.
Yep.
You can't use that if you're not within 12 of a chaplain.
That's very, very sad.
Yeah, for myself, Green Tide's still super fun. No notes other than maybe the Mega Knobs are out. I think they're a good tool for solving problems, especially if you're playing in singles. They can go in and punch a tough target, kill a land raider type of thing. Whether or not that's necessary for the list, I don't know. That unit is like 250 points, so you can buy. One of the things I was noticing was I didn't have a lot of it. My unit count was low. I had like 1 Gretchen, 1 Truck, 1 Stormboy for just like complete chaff. And I want more. I want at least 1 more Stormboy and hopefully Snicron, that kind of thing. And I can buy those things if I drop the Mega Knobs. So I'm going to play some games without them this weekend and see what it feels to not have that big damage dealing punchy unit.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
cool.
List is great.
Sweet. Over here, I am done with Aberrants. Oh my god, that unit did nothing all weekend. Like, the Biophagus killed Gaz. That was really cool, and they did nothing else the entire weekend of real substance. Against T-Suns, they sat on an objective. Against Eldar, they sat on an objective. Against Max, they whiffed like hell. And what was my wrong one? In the Necrons, they killed the unit of Wraiths after like 5 fight phases. Like, they were there for a long time. They're fine. They're not worth 500 points. And we need to empty cars. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut them, and we're going to swap them out for 4 Ridge Runners with lasers, 2 squads of 2 spotters, probably a 2nd Reductus. And I'm currently playing with the Jackal Alphys, which is kind of funny. I don't know that she's actually worth it. But she's really cool. She's 60 points. So, like, what's the big deal? What's really awesome, though, is that by doing that, by cutting them, I don't know why I haven't seen anyone else doing this who hasn't played with Aberrants, because this is one of the best things I found out about not playing them, is you get to put Inscrutable Cunning on a Primus and a Primus Nexos Neophyte squad. That squad becomes preposterous. First off, you get to do the bullshit where you get to zone the entire midfield if you're a defender. No one else gets to have any forward deploys. Incredible, because it keeps everyone off of you. And then you redeploy them back to safety anyway. But also, Inscrutable Cunning is a 4-up every time you spend a stratagem on the unit. Not spend a CP, but use a stratagem. And the Nexus gets a free stratagem every player turn. You just get free command points. It's so, like, you're spending 2 CP on them anyway, because you're using the free EB for +1 Blitz to +1 AP, and you're picking them up every turn. And then, like for example, in a practice game yesterday, I was like, oh snap, I've only got 1 CP. I need to pick up this turn, but also I need to Overwatch. So I Overwatch, don't get the CP. Bummer, I'm out. Okay, cool. I shoot. All right, I'm going to reroll this hit roll randomly for free with my Nexus. 4-up. Oh, I got my CP back. Great. And now we get to leave.
Yep.
Wow, that's
cancer.
something.
You also don't have that feeling of I need to a safe CP to ingress these Aberrants.
Yeah.
I need to ingress these Aberrants. So now your CP
CP are
is way
so
better.
tight for GSC.
The CP economy is way better for multiple reasons with this change, and also the Ridge Runners just totally alter the tempo. We've got a bit rep. It's happening. We recorded it. There's going to be commentary. It's going to be very cool. I got to pull a very sexy turn 1 Ridge Runner move into Lucas.
It was cool.
It's very cool. Look forward to that. But more importantly,
baby.
look forward to that list and some of these other guys and their wacky lists. Next week, we're going to be at DreamHack, which is a video game thing, or so I'm told. I don't play video games. But it's going to be a team event. We're going there repping the Stars and Stripes. So there'll be a Team USA team, an Art of War team. It's this big, what do you call it, a showcase or exhibition? Exhibition event. They're doing a Tabletop Life, formerly known as Pro Tabletop. And Midwestern Alliance, which are some other people that some of whom you know. It's going to be a real good time. We'll definitely be posting all over the Discord about it. You can check us out on Facebook if you look for U.S. National Warhammer Team. Is that what we're called? I don't know. You can find us in places. We'll put something in the description, hopefully, so you can check that out. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. So the 3 of us are going to that. The USA team is the 3 of us. Anthony, who I'm sure you know if you're listening to this podcast, a little known fellow by the name of Sean Naden, Jonathan Lennon, and then we've got Zach Kerstetter, who inspired that Blood Angels list. I think he's playing T-Suns, though.
Nice.
Yeah, because John's playing.
Because John's on Marines. And then
nasty.
And Brian Jones, our boy with the Imperial Knights, who just won Best Overall at Dallas Open. So shout out to Brian Jones. Very, very sexy. Also, shout out to Sam Pope. I'm not forgetting about End the Swarm. I'll be back for winning Dallas this Open with the best anti-bully boys list in the business. That was very cool. I think it's totally unnecessary to play the Hive Tyrant, but it is a very funny thing to just flex on him.
One attack.
Oh no, you killed 3. And I'm fucking spending this. I'm freebie CPing LFR, so I'm also -1 to hit.
T-Nerds are good to bullet boys. let's just say that.
Anyway, so that's cool. So look forward to some of that. So I'm going to be playing GSC. You're playing Greenside?
Yeah.
Sick. What do you got, Nick?
What?
What are you playing at
DreamHack?
DreamHack?
All playing Cancor, baby.
Let's go.
The good old King's Court, dude.
Spicy Campers, bringing the Silent King.
King.
That's going to be fun. So look forward to that. Anywho'sville, let's break out some listener questions here. We got a couple. The first one is from our father. He asks, Max, have you tried a Land Raider Redeemer, and how does it compare to not taking one?
Oh, I have. Okay, so I have. And the Redeemer is so sick. And like into people like Tyler, oh my god, the Overwatch, ha ha. But up here in our area, we have like on average, I'd say like 3 to 4 like really good T-Suns players. Like they know the army inside. No, I 5. Gosh, Britt Tanner plays T-Suns too.
Everyone does.
Goodness, there are a lot of T-Suns up here, and one of the big things that I'm sure you know T-Suns can do after hearing Nick talk about them is they can twist that armor save right off a Land Raider, and having my 260 something odd point model just die and just be like,
Vaporize.
oh, you have a 2-up in AOC and cover. No, you don't. You just die to Magnus. I'm
You
like,
just got
oh,
shot by the Infernal Master.
this is terrible. What
Yeah.
can I do? Oh, what I ended up coming to the conclusion was I'm going to cut the Land Raider and
Yeah.
bring in 2 impulsors and an extra 100 points of stuff. And the nice thing with the impulsor was just like it's 2 activations, which is great for Marines. So, and I don't care about the activations really killing anything. So I count them as kind of mission play. You know, go off and do signals later, do some deploy or a cleanse, or run into 20 Orc boys and hold them there. You know.
Yep.
Marines can definitely have a stuff problem. And
Oh, yeah.
cutting that into 3 units, very nice.
Yep.
Yes.
And then if you decide to twist their 85 point impulsor, first off, fine, it's 85 points. Second off, I at least get a 5 of invuln against
It's
all
not
the
worth it
other
anymore.
crap.
Yeah.
So maybe I
Yeah.
scam you, which is a good feeling against T-Suns because they scam me all.
You can also have your. I mean, the assault ramp is nice, but this change also allows your assaultants to be in 2 different places instead of 1, right? It's very easy to be like your landers in 1 spot. Okay, what's your threat range? How do I plan around this? But if they're in 2 spots instead, it's you control much more of the board.
So it's very much a local meta call of just I got so tired of just my Land Raider dying to Magnus top of 1 because I dance him over there 48 inches and go woohoo.
I think it's a good medical in general.
So yeah,
EA have a tough time in the T-Suns.
Yeah.
Might make the matchup harder for
why
some.
make it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I settled on the impulsors and extra trash, just because T-Suns are spooky.
Yep. Nice.
Owen also asks, Death Company Dread is a meme or for reals? I think you've said he can be for reals.
He like okay, so definitely felt like a meme when I put him in because I was like, I want to do the dream thing. He did do the dream thing, so like felt for real there, but then just honestly, he's 145 points. Relatively inexpensive for what he brings. T9, 8 wounds, 6 of feel no pain, 2 up armor is great.
He's like annoying to kill.
8-inch move is
Yeah.
wild. And it's like I said, a distraction card effects. Like if you don't deal with him, he will just accrue value throughout the entire game. And he's also not a bad Overwatch threat with the double heavy flamers you can run on him.
And you've got the talons, right? The more attacks.
Yep, more attacks because of the Sons of Sanguinius bring you to strength 10 with Twin Linked. I'm like, that's
It's
great.
good enough.
And I'd
Seems
rather
great.
have the more attacks to shred through the chaff that I'm sending him into than the less attacks to kind of kill the elites. Which
It
I
seems like
already have.
potentially getting bogged down in a bigger squad is kind of an issue.
Yep.
Would you ever consider putting him in outflank, or is he on the board every game?
Because I don't run them with the Magna Grapples. Generally, I start them on the board because I generally use my Ingress on the Martes unit.
Fair enough.
He's also just like such a big threat.
Yep.
Like you have to play totally different knowing that
He's also
around.
a tiny box knot, so
Yeah.
he's smaller than like a can of soda. He's so easy to hide.
Yep.
It's
What's-
really silly.
Oh, he's OC 0.
OC3 or he's OC3 on datasheet, but
Okay,
0 because
that's
of
kind of a
range.
downside.
Yes.
But like
Okay.
the
They can
but like
show you.
Lamartis can be around in
Yeah.
places and whatnot. Like you can get
He can,
talents.
but he not always.
One of the
Totally.
nice things with Lamartis is you can ingress him. Like, say your Death Company Dreads killed something,
He's
or
on
like
an
Overwatch,
objective.
you ingress Lamartis.
Your
with a
opponent
12.
says you won't support this objective. You're like, surprise, bitch, I will, dude. He's coming in to support his boy.
Yeah. That's very cool, especially because
go.
it's such a big squad that goes so quick. Like you can often probably do some pretty good strings there. 12 inches is a lot. All right.
That's sick.
Last question out of Owen is how are the Eradicators? Outflank 3s or 1x6?
It's 1x6. They're I feel like I couldn't leave home without them in this list because even though I got the Inferno pistols and Death Company, they just crack rhinos. I'll point, one multi-melta, 2 guys, one multi-melta, 2 guys. I'd probably kill 1, maybe 1.5, 2 rhinos. Or I'll just blast a rhino with all 6 if I really need it dead. Just cracking cars and then letting the guys inside do their thing. And then also I found into like, especially Orks, they're just T6. Orks don't like T6 with their boys. And you just are like, well, today they're not going to kill boys. Or they're not going to kill a lot. They're just going to be a roadblock that sits there at T6 with AOC, and you'll chew on them forever. And you can sit there. and into like Eldar and stuff, I'll 9-inch them, shoot something important, go, I'm going to go for a 9 on that chaff unit and beat them to death with 24 attacks at strength 6 because I'm a blood angel. So they actually do, they become an okay melee unit.
They're decent at killing Jeff.
You can get them to wounding Marines and stuff on 2s if you're willing to red rampage them, which I have done, and they
sexy.
just do the thing. And I have enjoyed them thoroughly. They also have grenades, which is big.
Very cool. Sweet. That one guy, John, asked, where to next with GSC until the Codex drops what's an all-gun list similar to 9th Ed Bikes and Friends? Answered that. Check out the list. It'll be in the bitrep. The bitrep list is a little bit different, but it's close enough. Check out the DreamHack list. It'll be a lot of fun. That list fucks really hard. I'm really enjoying the Ridge Runners. I wouldn't go buying everything, though, because that Codex is right around the corner, and I don't know what's going to be good, so we'll see. And then Pierce asked, similarly, why back on the GSC after consciously choosing to leave them? How'd it feel to go back? Explain that with the DreamHack thing. Partially, honestly, because it's easier to travel with. Putting 60 gargoyles on a plane, no thank you. Whereas the GSC fits in a box. And also, Lennon was going to play Nids for a while, so I got put. And then once I started playing, I was having a lot of fun. It feels really good to be back. The meta is not nearly as hostile to them as it was a little while ago. So they feel doable, especially with some of these Necron points changes. Cancord is not quite as much of an issue as it used to be. Yep. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm enjoying them. Like I said, these Ridge Runners are a ton of fun. Honestly, I'm just more excited to be playing different GSC than I am to be playing them particularly like that much better. Yep. Frank asks, what are you guys looking at in CSM at the moment? Is Abby making the cut anywhere?
Interesting question. I mean, the obvious answer is Renegade Raiders are absurdly good. So I think they're definitely going to be the dominant archetype. But as people start teching for them more and more, I don't think they're unbeatable by any stretch of the imagination. There's some other cool builds in there. I think Black Legion is really solid. I think Judge Talons are actually not a mean. You can make them happen. Vashtor is very good. He's also very good in Dread Talons, which is funny.
That's very funny.
So I think for Abaddon, the best place for him is probably in Iron Warriors, so he can join Chosen to get advanced in charge and be relatively resilient with Trans Newman and
he can join Chosen.
He can now join. That was a big
it's a change.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Very sexy.
He's also, I would say, not bad still in your classic index word bearers attachment where you can use that.
Yes.
The reroll hit roller for those really nice crit 5s and stuff.
Yeah, that's where his damage really goes to 11. Although he unfortunately lost all the marks, which was a pretty big nerf to him, so he can no longer be lone opt. He can't use the undivided strat.
What does he have? No mark?
He just has no god keywords
Anymore, yeah.
Oh no, I think he's undivided.
He should be undivided.
He probably is undivided, so he should be able to reroll wounds for a CP if he really needs to. But no more like lone opping, for example.
Sure.
So that's why I like him in Iron Warriors, because he can actually just like live. It's really hard to shoot to death 10 Chosen with 5 eliminated Trans Newman.
Does he have to join an undivided unit now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Question that Abaddon can't. He's Terminator keyword, so he couldn't go into Rhino with Chosen, correct?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
good.
Cheat.
You could cheat.
Fair.
You could also put him in a Land Raider if you wanted to have the Land Raider full of Chosen and Abaddon that moves through walls.
In the Demon's Dash.
Yeah, that's an
make
option.
a demon. Yeah, that's
very cool. All right. Post-late, but definitely a question for you guys, especially you, Max. How do you feel about Black Templars, Righteous Crusaders? Could there be some play in the Sus Sval with the crit 5s enhancement for the Hordish meta that it seems like we may be approaching? Good Green Tide counter, maybe? What do you think? I think
Templars just. I don't even know if we need that to do that. I think a lot of units that you run that you want to throw into the boys already probably have a lieutenant attached. If you're going into the boys unit, I personally would just say I would rather honestly like a chaplain and then spend the one point to give them that bow's benefit. So I'm a +1 to wound with exploding, and all of a sudden the boys are like, this isn't great.
Yes, the problem with the just sus plan is a lot of the sus weapons are relatively low strength, especially for those like big Crusader bricks.
Yeah, they are
the strength 4. Like your strength 4 1 damage is, let me tell you right now, not going to cut through a 20-man unit of boys by any stretch of the imagination. So you really need like a chaplain in there, like you said, or probably better is just like the lethal's vow, and you just like oath, and you get 25 auto wounds, and then you roll 5s to wound.
It's also lieutenant already lethals?
Yes, if a lieutenant's in the unit though, so it's more character investment. Another thing too is like I feel like as a Marine, as a 2 wound, just all around the army, just the 6 up feel no pain. I know a lot of people are like, it's kind of flavor text, but it really does throw off those 2 damage weapons. It really does. And sometimes it'll go crazy and you'll roll 2 boxcars straight or on a Death Company guy against an Aberrant pick. it does the thing sometimes.
Yep.
And 5-up leadership, sneaky good.
Yeah, it is very
There's
good.
a decent amount of Battle Shock stuff now that's becoming more common.
Yep.
I'm not saying Battle Shock's like the best end all be all leadership mechanic, but like it's becoming more common. I'm noticing it more, and I've had it come up and matter a lot. So just being leadership 5-up across your army is great. The 6-up Feel No Pain feels great.
Yep.
I feel like, yeah, there's definitely place still with Righteous Crusaders. I think 3x5 Sword Bros is a great place to start. Put one captain in E, maybe do 2 captains, and then the Emperor's Champion in the third one. I don't.
Emperor's Champion is very good.
Helbricht is okay, and it's like, oh wow, he's only okay. He is only okay because, generally speaking, you want that 6-up Feel No Pain vow. Helbricht gives crit 5s, and you need another character to do that, or you need to spend a CP on him, which you can't do if he needs a transport. He becomes almost too much of an investment when the Emperor's Champion is basically him. That's better into characters. That's I think the Emperor's Champion's 90
points cheaper.
It's like
He's
a
like
40
80
point,
points, and
yeah.
Helbrecht's like what, 120?
125. It's a 45-point difference, basically.
Yeah, he's a lot of points.
Which is, it's a lot. And so I think Righteous Crusaders are great. I think you could go in either on just going horde mode with just, hey, I have a bunch of 14-point Primaris Crusaders that have a 6-up Feel No Pain, that have decent attacks, and if they need to go in, we'll Oath Lethal Vow them.
Yep.
But you can also do the Sword Brethren Impulsor thing, which I think does great. Transports benefit a lot from that 6-up.
Yep.
Just overall, I think melee, the Divergent, melee, Marine chapters all have good play currently, especially compared to your base Marine.
Yes.
Very cool. Up next, Nick asks, what orc list attachment would you favor for an attacker in teams, Mr. Troller?
An attacker, I think I would probably go with Greentide or Warhorde. I feel like there are still a lot of armies that don't want to see Warhorde, especially on some denser tables. Bully Boys, I've found people have introduced a lot of tech into their list to kind of keep Bully Boys games close.
Yeah.
So I'm finding a lot of those games are like narrow Bully Boys wins or a tie, which is, usually your attacker, you want to like go pin someone and really beat them down, offer them 2 bad choices.
Yep.
And yeah, while Warhorde and Greentide might have some bad matchups, they also have some very good matchups.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like Greentide is the bully detachment in that it really lets you bully your pairings into exactly
it
what
is a
you
little
want.
bit counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't want jack to do with that. It's very
No.
scary.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, and last but certainly not least, from Tim, a question for Mr. Nicholas over here. What would you have brought to the event if you were to attend?
Yeah, I was planning on bringing T-Suns to Gongaii. I think it's what I'm having like the most fun with in singles right now. Although I will say, like, I was having a rough time trying to think of a list that could do well into what I think are like 2 armies that counter T-Suns really well. I think Orks and Tau are just like not great matchups for them. So honestly, I probably would have just like, I think I was leaning pretty heavily on just trying to play Canoptek Court more for practice for DreamHack. But kind of once I realized I didn't have the time for it, yeah. But if I would have gone, would have been one of those 2. I think though, if you're trying to play T-Suns right now in singles, the singles meta is very hostile towards them. So practice into Tau and Orcs because it's gonna be tough.
And when we say Tau for T-Suns, we are mainly speaking Monka is what we are scared of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because T-Suns hate like for melee pressure and fast shooting.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's-
Someone
yeah.
taking the whole board and then Thunderdome
Yeah.
you with damage on
Yeah.
turn 2.
Yep.
I do think that I think the Bully Boys one is like pretty, you can't like muscle really through it at all. I think that the Green Tide one is this very interesting game of like who touches the objectives win.
Stripping
I think that one could be really fun though. I think, that is
Just
true.
show them like all you get is a 4-up, brother.
That is true.
Yep.
Doesn't sound the most exciting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
Sweet. Well, if you want to see Mr. Nicholas over here playing Warhammer, definitely check out the streaming coverage of DreamHack next week. Like I said, we'll put links to that in places once we have them. We're not in charge. We don't really know what's happening. I think Tactical Tortoise is doing the commentary for that, and Tabletop Life is involved in the streaming. So that'll all be fairly high production value stuff. Look forward to it. Like I said, look forward to this bit rep. Check out some of our awesome sponsors down in the description. We've got Red Dragon selling used and new minis, among other things. I think they just put out a whole bunch of objectives, including some of their sponsoring teams.
Awesome.
Check those out. If you want on things that are stat check specifically branded, we've got those. We've got, I think we have a merch like now. I don't know if that's happening. We definitely have Solitaire game stuff for widgets and whatnot. You get those over on Etsy. Who is our other big sponsor that I always forget? Red Dragon, Saltire, and Whalen Yutani. Yes, there we go. If you want your WTC terrain made the way it's played at WTC, which no one else has the ability to argue that. Really lightweight, easy to transport as well because it's all this lovely foam. So if you're into that, check it out. We got some of the brand stuff there. You get a little bit of a discount using codes in the description. If you're interested in coaching, check out the link there. We do offer that with lots of different players. It's a good deal. And yeah, those are kind of the things that we need to plug. But yeah, with that all being said and done, thanks so much for joining us on this slightly abbreviated episode. This has been episode 10 of Take All Comers Out of the Woods. Naturally, we'll be in Dallas at DreamHack next week, so no show then. But we'll be breaking down what actually happened there and some of these new meta factions. We'll have some more CSM reps. Hopefully, we'll know a little bit more about GSC. Sisters coming out soon. We're looking forward to seeing y'all there. But with that all being said and done, thank you so much for joining us. Gotta hit the button. Where's the button? There it is. There we go. Hit the button. It seems to be loading. I've been. No, why isn't it working?
Beach Wi-Fi. No. Beach Wi-Fi is paladin.
Anyway, we'll figure it out. I've been Tyler.
I've been Nick.
I'm still Lucas. Bye, gents.